We've got a recipe that's going to make chard a summer go-to, promise. So here's a look at what you'll need to prepare Chef Trevor's sautéed Swiss chard with Ontario Asiago. And you can find this list of ingredients in the recipe, as always, on our website at cityline.tv. Okay, Trevor, chard is one of those vegetables that I often think of as sitting there sad in amongst all the other vegetables, all forgotten about. Everyone's hanging out with the kale. No one's paying attention to the chard. So tell us a little bit more about the chard.
Well, Tracy, it's interesting. There's that lost section in the produce section. And I don't know why kale gets all the love, but usually nestled around kale are the things like dandelion leaves and different types of chard. So it's perfect because it's summer and it's chard season. I love chard because it's got a little bit of bitterness and you can do so many things to amp it up. So today we're going to do rainbow chard sauteed in a pan with lots of fun flavors to get it going. So we've got a pan here. We've got it heated up to medium high. We're going to add some EVOO, which is your extra virgin olive oil. And then a little bit of secret. Some people might just say, oil, but I'm going to add a little knob of Ontario butter as well.
Trevor, why is it important to mix the oil and the butter together?
Well, for me, the butter adds a little bit of that kick of richness and flavor and amps up a little creaminess because we're going to finish it off with some cheese as well. So it's another bit of flavor for you. So by having that butter and that oil, now we're going to add in our chopped minced garlic. And then about half a small red onion, chopped dicely small. And we're going to just let that basically saute for a little bit until they turn a little translucent. Oh, it smells marvelous in here. Now the next little bit I'm going to add in here, before I add in, I want to ask you, Tracy, how are you with heat?
Trev, I am so good with heat, and I think you and I are on the same page when it comes to heat. The more the better. So what are we adding?
Well, when I saute vegetables, I love to add a little bit of heat. So I've got some really nice fresh chili peppers here. And I'm just gonna add, you know what, I know you like heat and so do I, so I'm gonna add all of them. And I like to add them while I'm cooking so it really seeps into the flavor. I wish you can smell this right now. So we've got the onions, the garlic, the olive oil, the chilies. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add in the stems. So I've cut up the chard into stems and leaves. Stems take a little bit longer, so we're gonna put the stems in. We're gonna get those sauteing. You can hear the whole sizzle. Oh. And the great thing about the rainbow chard is it's got, you know, I'm going to pick one of these up. Look at the color. It's just bright and vivacious. These also come in a yellow and they also come in a green as well. But, it smells fantastic. And a lot of people are scared of this vegetable. I don't know why. Next thing we're going to do, though, we're going to give a little bit of moisture. We're going to add some white wine. I'm using an unoaked, super dry Chardonnay because I don't want too much sweetness as well. So that's going to saute and it's going to soak up and really moisten up those stems a little bit. We're going to give that about 30 seconds. And just before we do the next step, lemon, fresh lemon juice. Give it a little bit of that citrus kick. There's going to be 2 elements of citrus in this recipe, okay? And then the last step before we take it to the next level is we're going to add the leaves in. And these leaves will cook rather fast. We're going to pop these in now, okay? The thing about chard is that it comes in these big bunches just like kale. And a lot of times we get intimidated because we pick these things, we can't even fit it into our little bag or into that little plastic bag at the grocery store because we're not sure how we're going to cook it. The fact of the matter is once you get into the pan, they wilt really quick and there's not much to it at the end of it. Okay, so before we do this, we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. You see the flavors are just simmering up. Oh. The white wine is starting to evaporate a little bit, and now you can smell the mix of the garlic and everything else in that chard. Pretty much ready to go for plating. Okay, so Tracy, I think we're ready to plate it, and then we're gonna add the last 2 elements. So I'm gonna grab my plate.
Okay, as you start to plate, Trev, I know one of the last things you're going to add is cheese, which I am all on board for. And you've picked an Asiago cheese, and I'm just wondering, are there any other cheeses that you would use instead of the Asiago, or there's a reason why you've chosen that particular cheese for this recipe?
I particularly like Asiago because it's got this nice little peppery sharpness to it. And it holds really well under heat. So we got the cheese here. Now you can use like a Reggiano as well, but you know, a lot of people don't know that in Canada we have some amazing cheeses, and Asiago is one of them. which is available in Ontario. So we've got the cheese grated on, and then the last step to that little bit of freshness and that second level of citrus is some lemon zest right on top. And that is pretty much it. A summer chard. It's a great vegetable for barbecue or at a home dinner. Just tons of flavor, citrus and cream and pepper and everything else. So beautiful.
And as you mentioned, Trev, you always get that humongous bushel of it. So use it, use tons of it. It's all gonna shrink down anyways. Trev, thank you so much for that recipe, cityline.tv for the recipe, for all of our recipes here on Cityline. And you already know this, we have the best